to this webinar on how to utilize consumer research to build your audience strategy. The duration of the webinar will be approximately 25 minutes, followed by a 5-minute Q&A session hosted by my colleague Ola. So please feel free to post any questions you may have in the chat as we go along. Please use the regular chat since the Q&A function doesn't work in the new version of Teams. But we will share the presentation deck and recording of the webinar after. Before we dive into it, a little bit more about myself. I am very passionate about consumer insights, and I have been working in market research for more than 12 years. I've started my career at GfK in Sydney, working with a lot of clients in tech and entertainment in the APAC region. Moved client side, leading Red Bull's global research operations team, and for about 2.5 years, I've been working at Newzoo. For those of you who are not as familiar with Newzoo, Newzoo is the global leader in video games and gamer data. At Newzoo, we help clients by giving them the insights they need to get ahead on games, on gamers, and on the games market. Today's webinar is powered by data from our Global Gamer Study. The Global Gamer Study provides you with consumer gamer audience data across 36 markets, empowering you to inform your target audience strategy at each stage of the game development cycle. It also provides a cost-effective solution for deep diving into the audiences that are most relevant to your game and pinpoint opportunities across the 36 markets covered. The Global Gamer Study is a very comprehensive annual online survey where we interview over 74,000 respondents. This data can be accessed via our interactive cross-tabbing tool on the Newzoo platform, but for the purpose of this webinar, we will show you the insights in PowerPoint though today. This study provides a wealth of insights that enables you to segment and profile your most interesting target audiences. These can range from detailed player motivations to their playing and spending habits to demographics, lifestyle, and media. And I guess we all know that players cannot be solely defined by the platforms or genres they play. In today's complex gaming landscape, it is crucial to take into account players' preferences, motivations, and attitudes when competing for players' attention and time. So there are multiple use cases that demonstrate how gamer audience data can provide valuable support throughout the game dev cycle and beyond. You have to understand your game's target audience segments to unlock the full potential of your game and to consequently enhance your player satisfaction and retention. In today's webinar, we will focus on one key use case that highlights the importance of your audience strategy at each stage. During the greenlighting stage, it is crucial to understand the characteristics and preferences of the target audience your game concept idea caters to. Target audience profiling allows you to evaluate the potential market demand for your game and paint a detailed picture of the audience who will be most receptive to your game. As you then get closer to game's launch, it becomes essential to make well-informed decisions regarding your marketing strategy. Leveraging gamer audience data can help you to define and refine your approach to maximize your return on investment on your marketing spend. And then, even after a game's launch, gamer audience data remains essential for expanding your player base and ensuring continued success. This involves analyzing potential expansion into new markets, incorporating additional content, refining game features, and informing other crucial post-launch strategies. By leveraging audience data, you can identify opportunities to sustain and enhance the long-term success of your game. So for today's webinar, we assume we are launching a new game, Heroes of Newzoo, an action-adventure, fantasy-themed, single-player RPG, PC, and console game. We will use Heroes of Newzoo as an example in the 3 use cases that we are covering today. To set the scene a little bit, we all know the RPG space has evolved quite a lot over recent years, making it very complex. Historically, more single-player focus, we have seen a rise in the release of multiplayer RPGs in recent years. Many RPGs now cater to both single and multiplayer experiences. Some RPGs prioritize immersive narratives, others lean more towards the competitiveness or cooperation. Let's take our example for today, Heroes of Newzoo, which we are planning to release on PC and console. This game is all about immersing players in an incredible narrative experience for single-player RPG enthusiasts. Just like other popular titles, Hogwarts Legacy, The Witcher, Elden Ring, and so on. It is very important that we evaluate where our game, Heroes of Newzoo, fits in and understand player preferences and motivation within this space. So this is crucial because we want to attract as many players as possible. We make this map using this data from our game performance monitor, which provide title level engagement data for over 1,000 of PC and console titles. While we could have added many more games, our main goal is to highlight the crowded and competitive nature of the space. So let's explore our first use case in more detail. For Greenlighting, our new PC console game, it is crucial that we understand our core target audience in more depth. It helps us to evaluate what the market potential of our new game concept is and who our potential players are most likely. To identify the most valuable target audience for Heroes of Newzoo, we begin by defining our core target group. We can choose from a broad range of gaming preferences and motivations that align best with our new game concept idea. For the purpose of this webinar, let's keep it somewhat simple. And for Heroes of Newzoo, we'll focus on PC and/or console players who have played action-adventure RPGs within the past 6 months and have a preference for a fantasy theme. Furthermore, we will narrow down our core target audience by selecting appealing features and motivations that closely relate to Heroes of Newzoo. This includes respondents who highly value a strong narrative or story, enjoy exploring open worlds, and are motivated by spending time exploring and finding secrets in detailed game worlds, as well as embrace the role-playing elements. Our target group needs to fulfill all of these criteria. To begin with, we will also only focus on North America, the United States, and Canada, as this is the primary region where we are likely to launch our game, or at the very least, the beta version initially. Now that we have established the selection criteria, we can profile our core target audience on a wide range of dimensions. For context, we compare it to the average PC and/or console player. To start, let's assess the relative share of our core target group. The core target group represents 15% of the total PC and/or console players, which may seem a little bit small, but it's expected since we have deliberately chosen a narrow range of criteria to maintain focus. Also, please keep in mind that this estimation is based on a respondent sample and should not be used to forecast your total addressable market, which we offer as a tailored solution as well. However, it does provide a general idea of the share of your core target group among the total PC and/or console player base in North America. Additionally, there are various demographic variables that we can explore. For simplicity, we will only focus on age and gender today. While the gender distribution is relatively similar to the average PC and console player, there appears to be a skew towards 21 to 35-year-olds, which make up nearly 50% of Heroes of Newzoo's target group. This is super important for us to know, to consider for future targeting purposes. Another area to explore is the playing behavior of our core target group. Firstly, let's look at the platforms they play on. Our core target group has a strong preference for console, with nearly every player having played on console in the past 6 months. The arrows indicate the deviation from the average PC and/or console player as a reference. This information could be very valuable if you plan to initially limit the beta or initial release to a specific platform only, such as console, and subsequently expand to other platforms such as PC or even eventually mobile down the track. Since we are considering a single player only mode, it is worth investigating the current preferences of our core target group on both console and PC. On both platforms, there's a significantly higher preference for single player experience compared to co-op play. And lastly, let's look at the type of games our core target group plays, pay to play or free to play. There's a stronger inclination towards pay to play games. This is good to sanity check our approach since we are considering a pay-to-play model, and we could even use this to refine our core target group to pay-to-play respondents only at a later stage. Another aspect to explore at this early stage is the paying behavior of our core target group. Since Heroes of Newzoo follows a pay-to-play model, like most RPG games, it is crucial to understand if our core target audience is willing to spend and what motivates their spending. Within our core target group, a significant 9 out of 10 individuals have made video game-related purchases in the past 6 months, indicating there is a high willingness to spend. While deep diving into high spender and low spender segments is beyond the scope of this webinar today, it is worth noting this is possible too. Another aspect is understanding their motivations to spend. Among the top 3 reasons, our core target group over-indexes for spending on video games or related purchases during sales or special offers. This is very valuable information as we could consider to promote the game or in-game purchases through discounted sales or special offers. Furthermore, we can also explore the specific in-game items our core target group generally spends on. Their preferences lean towards expansion or content packs, in-game currencies, and cosmetics or skins. Although these preferences are not necessarily limited to RPG games only, they provide insights that can inform our in-game monetization strategies. So that concludes our first use case, where we use target audience analysis to assist in forming Heroes of Newzoo's business case for greenlighting. What have we learned? So we've learned more about the relative share of our core target audience and the demographic profile. This will really help us to prioritize and allocate resources effectively based on the size and potential of the target audience. We've also learned more about their playing behavior. This really helps us to inform our platform release strategies and decisions around gameplay elements. And we've also learned more about our core target audience spending behavior, which to some extent will feed into our monetization strategies. Again, just to highlight for the purpose of this webinar, we only focused on a small range of metrics, but there are a wide range of metrics that we could have looked at to paint the full picture of our core target group. All right, from the greenlighting stage to the go-to-market phase. From greenlighting to go-to-market, there are likely to be several iterations of Heroes of Newzoo as it is being developed. We have probably conducted more customized research to assess the appeal of the Heroes of Newzoo concept and refined the core target group based on new information and design changes being made throughout the process. So as we approach the actual launch of our game, it becomes crucial to plan our marketing activities in more detail for promoting Heroes of Newzoo. Therefore, in our second use case, we focus on gathering information to inform our targeted marketing initiatives to reach our core target group. Prior to launch, our goal is, of course, to generate maximum buzz, create awareness, and drive purchase play intent. Newzoo has an additional consumer data source, the Game Health Tracker, which continuously tracks consumer metrics at a game level. And one of the metrics the Game Health Tracker provides is awareness of upcoming PC and or console titles. This gives us very valuable insights on how our awareness is performing leading up to our launch. For Heroes of Newzoo, we started significant promotional activities and marketing campaigns in Q4 last year to build momentum for our September launch. However, it appears that pre-release awareness levels have plateaued over the past few months, indicating that our current efforts may not be reaching a broader audience of PC and console players. Of course, this is dummy data since Heroes of Newzoo is a fictional game. But we can compare our awareness levels to other recently released titles, such as Hogwarts Legacy, a major PC console RPG released in February this year. In the month preceding its launch, Hogwarts Legacy achieved around 40% awareness among US PC and console gamers. As you can see, our awareness is notably lower compared to Hogwarts Legacy. When we dive further into the awareness for Heroes of Newzoo, we discovered that specifically within the 21 to 35 age group, awareness is surprisingly low. And as you may recall, this is the age group which we thought is the one that is most receptive to our game. So we take a closer look again to define where our core target group can be reached to discuss with our media agency. There are various variables that we can use to identify targeting opportunities within the data set, but to keep it simple again, let's focus on social media and gaming subscriptions only. The top 5 social media platforms used by our total core target group closely align with those used by the 21 to 35 age range, with the exception of TikTok, which ranks somewhat higher within the 21 to 35 age group. This is an important consideration that may not have been previously taken into account by us or our media agency. When it comes to gaming subscriptions, PlayStation Plus is the gaming subscription currently used the most among our total core target audience, as well as among the 21 to 35 years old. Nintendo Switch Online ranks second, and there seems to be a slightly higher usage of Xbox Game Pass among 21 to 35 years old compared to the total core target audience group. Gaming platforms and subscription could be particularly interesting when looking at subscriptions to collaborate with for special launch or pre-order offers, especially since our core target audience seems to be very receptive to special offers and sales offers. So this was our second use case where we explored how audience data can assist us for our go-to-market strategies. We've seen how we can funnel our often limited marketing funds to the channels that are most effective in reaching a vast majority of our core target audience. We've also explored what gaming subscription might be most suitable to collaborate with for potential launch offers, and with both consequently leading into optimizing our marketing spend and its return on investment. Now, in our third use case, we shift our focus towards identifying growth opportunities post-launch for Heroes of Newzoo. In general, there are 2 primary ways we can grow our player base. Firstly, expanding our target group within existing markets, and secondly, expanding regionally. Let's begin by looking at expanding our target group within existing markets. For our core target group, we specifically targeted players who have a strong affinity for a strong narrative and an immersive gameplay. It is important to acknowledge that our game may also appeal to other groups with different motivations. Therefore, we are broadening our analysis to also include those who are more driven by using tactics and strategic thinking to overcome challenges or completing as many of the game's tasks or goals. The strong narrative and immersion are secondary motivations, as well as the criteria of the other gameplay elements and theme are somewhat secondary to this extended group. Of course, in reality, there are likely more than just 2 main motivational segments that our game appeals to. Again, for the purpose of this webinar, we keep it somewhat simple. So further analysis of these groups, we have now defined the personas that seem to be the most relevant for our game: the immersion seeker as well as the quest hunter. This approach ensures that our efforts align with the motivations and desires of our target audiences. This also helps us to implement a player-centric approach across all our business departments to tailor all our activities for heroes of Newzoo to choose to those two player segments. The other way to grow our player base is to expand to new markets. Here we are just looking at the shares of the immersion seeker and the quest hunter across some key markets to inform our expansion strategy. It is not surprising to see that the shares are much higher in Japan, since RPGs are particularly more popular in Asia. When expanding to new markets, it is crucial to take market nuances into account, since demographic and media behavior are likely to differ. We may find, for example, that in Japan, the RPG profile of our two groups is more skewed towards female than in other markets. And you would expect variations in what gaming platforms, gaming subscriptions, or social media are popular. So for each of our markets of interest, we can again create a detailed profile of our target player base, taking market nuances into account to inform local targeting and marketing strategies. So finally, we can bring our personas to life. We have crafted a comprehensive profile that ensures a shared understanding and reference for our entire Heroes of Newzoo team. This profile delves into both the demographic and psychographic aspects of our personas, capturing details about their interests, hobbies, and media consumption beyond gaming. It also provides insights into their general player preferences, including the genres they enjoy, as well as their spending habits in terms of who, why, and when they invest in video games. By outlining these specifics, we establish a very valuable framework that guides our activities and enables us to align our efforts effectively across the business. So this brings us nearly to the end of our webinar. In this last section, we have identified the most valuable motivational segments for expanding our player base post-launch, allowing us to focus our efforts on the audiences that have the greatest potential. We have developed an understanding of market level nuances for regional expansion, since it's important to tailor our expansion and targeting strategies to the respective markets. And lastly, we've created a common persona framework that serves as a guide for all our activities across different business units. So, what are the things that we would like you to take away from our webinar today? If you want to make your game a success, investing in building your audience strategy from the get-go is super important. Throughout the development process, you will probably iterate it several times, but it is crucial throughout the entire dev cycle. Whether it's for initial market validation at greenlighting stage, optimizing your marketing strategies for your launch, or growing your player base post-launch. Audience segmentation should be a critical part of your strategy throughout. And some funny animations. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you found it useful and gained a better understanding of how consumer research can help with your target audience strategy across the entire game dev cycle. We will have a quick 5 or 6 minute Q&A now, but feel free to reach out to myself or the Newzoo team if you have any questions or would like us to schedule a call to speak about your needs more specifically.